Howdy, folks. Welcome to this week's Ag Report. So this week, we're going to talk about the FFA, okay? We just completed the National FFA Week, where folks celebrate all things FFA. Maybe you were an alumni of the FFA. It is a whole lot more than sows, cows, and plows, as they say. I think it's a great building block for young adulthood. There's lots of skills that we learned in FFA. In my time in FFA, we had the farm radio, where we learned, like I am doing to you now, how to speak, how to project yourself on the microphone, how to pronounce, clearly sentences and words and things that you're wanting to get across. We had chapter conducting and parliamentary procedure, where we learned how to conduct meetings, how to participate in meetings using Robert's Rules of Order. You may think, well, why in the world do you need to know that? Well, maybe you're wanting to participate in, soccer meetings, football meetings, city council meetings, different things like that. Parliamentary procedure can help you greatly, whether you're leading the meeting or whether you are just participating in that meeting, trying to get your point across. Different skills that we learned. We learned small engine repair, where we had to take an engine apart, put it back together, make it run, most importantly, and no extra parts left over. And you may think, well, I'm not really going to work on a lawnmower. Well, it gives you the basic skills of how your automobile runs, how your car works, that kind of stuff. Motorcycle, maybe you drive a motorcycle. It just kind of helps you with that skill building. We learned animal husbandry and genetics. We learned about bookkeeping and record keeping, can help you, balance your checkbook and that kind of stuff. We also learned about construction, how to mix concrete from the basic, elements, not just sackcrete where you add water, rebar, how that works in concrete. We also learned about welding. Now, I'll say, of course, we had, it was co-ed class. We had girls in there. Girls are really good at welding. The detail and the patience and everything to sew it together, they were really good. So I'll share with you a little story. We had a young lady in our class, and we kept our welding rods in an old refrigerator to keep the humidity out and everything so they didn't rust up. And so one day we were starting class and we were waiting in line at the refrigerator to get our welding rods out. And she kind of, turned to one of the guys and she was like, why do we keep these welding rods in the refrigerator? And so that guy said, well, so they won't melt. And she kind of looked and she thought that was a kind of a weird answer. And so she kind of turned to the rest of us and said, really, why do we keep those rods in there? So we all kind of, caught on to the deal. We were like, well, we don't want them to melt. So we gotta keep them in there, keep them cool. So she was kind of thinking we were leading her on there, a little pulling her leg. So about that time, our teacher came in and saw us kind of, talking. She says, these guys are telling me we keep, these things in there so they won't melt. Is that true? And so our teacher quickly picked up on the fact that we were, giving her a tease there. And he was like, well, of course, what are you thinking? Which is kind of humorous because if you think about it, you keep the rods in the refrigerator and then you go weld with them at several hundred degrees Fahrenheit. It's kind of, silly to think that. But anyways, we had a good time, in there, and it's also, I share with you those things, those skills that we learned. It was a time of bonding. We see folks nowadays and we kind of reminisce, about the trips that we took, competing at different things. I actually got to go to the National FFA convention in Kansas City, Missouri that year and compete on the national stage, representing, I believe we were Area 8 in Waxahachie. So if you've got, grandkids or kids that are thinking about, their high school career, and should they be in FFA, but we live in town and we live in an addition or an apartment or something like that, I would highly encourage you to do that. it is a whole lot more than just the animal side of it. A lot of life building skills there that I think are really important and good for young people to be a part of and to learn. A lot of good stuff there. So no matter where you're watching this video at, whether it's in Waxahachie or anywhere across the nation, I'd encourage you, look into the FFA. If you're grown and you're out of that, I'd encourage you to help the FFA chapters when they do special events, donations, things like that. Plug in, get involved. You're investing in a great cause. Well, I hope you've enjoyed this kind of reminisce of FFA and what that might mean to you. I hope you get plugged in and get involved in your local FFA chapter. Y'all take care now.